Hello, Internet. I hope everybody is having a wonderful evening. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody's having a good long weekend. Scarlett wants to say hi to you. All right. Calm down. I got to be slow. I don't want to knock over the Christmas tree. Okay. You want to say hi to everybody? Are you all excited? I know it's showtime. All right. Okay. No, you're going to knock everything over. Okay. Can you get down now? Can you go lay down? Can you go lay down, please? She's been just sitting there staring at me for like the last 3 hours. Can you please go sit down right now, please? You know what? It's because I didn't take her to the park today. She's all wired up. Danger, how we doing? That's so random. Scarlett, come on, let's go lay down. Knock it off. She's tormenting my other dog. Go lay down right now. Lay down. Scarlett. Jeez, she's extra bad tonight, guys. All right. Casey Martin, hola. Danger. Nancy Pelosi is a necrofelcher. I don't know what that means. I don't think I want to know what that means, Ronald. I think I might know what felching is, and I don't think I want to talk about it. Just texting the algorithms. Okay, well, I guess they're working. No park. I know. I didn't take it to the park today. I had so much I needed to get done. Yeah, no, I'm a terrible dog owner. I also don't want her to hurt her leg. I need her to relax. I'm fairly certain she has like a tiny tear in something, either ACL or MCL. Yeah, I don't want to break my dog. I already broke my dog. And, well, as Danger watching over here on YouTube, that's funny. I'm talking in two different chats right now. So, yeah, Casey Martin, my buddy over here on YouTube that's watching, he had to do an $8,000 surgery on his dog, and I'm really trying to avoid that. So, yeah, need to keep her calm. How is everybody? How's everybody's Thanksgiving? Everybody having a good long weekend? Yeah, I know. I'm trying to keep her rested, but she wants to freaking run around everywhere and get the zoomies. Yeah, well, I don't take her to the dog park. People freak out. People don't like pit bulls. People do not like pit bulls. So I don't even take her to the dog park. People freak out. It sucks. She gets socialized with other dogs that, are dog people that don't worry about pit bulls, because she submits to every dog she meets. It's just, yeah. Anyway, people freak out. All right. We got a ton to get into tonight. Tonight is going to be a bit of a different special. Those of you who are watching over on YouTube, I'm going to do my first locals stream. So this is locals is attached to Rumble. I don't use it too much, but I'm going to do a little. I guess it seems to limit you to 30 minutes. So I'm going to do a little private stream after this one. Just going to be a test. I don't have any sort of agenda. I'm just going to chat with you guys. If you guys want to go over there and ask me questions, ask me anything. I'm an open book. I'll answer whatever you guys want to ask me about. And if there's anything we didn't get to. Anyway, yeah, tonight is sort of a not really a deep dive episode, because there's people already doing super deep dives into this topic. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Yeah, it's sort of a random one. It's back in the day, but freaking Clint Russell over there at Liberty Lockdown, he sent me down a rabbit hole today with a single post, and I basically took in about 2 hours of I'll call them lectures of a guy talking. They're a podcast. It's a guy talking that's trying to convince us of a certain narrative that we'll get into. And so, yeah, 6 hours listening to him, read a bunch of articles, and I got to tell you guys, he makes some compelling arguments. And, well, we'll get into it. Wally World, nice to see you. All right, so everybody, glad you're here. If you guys could tap that like button, be super awesome. And all right, let's get right into it. So if you guys remember Malaysia Airlines flight 370, this is from way back when. And we'll just go over to the Wikipedia really quick. Just look it up. So since this isn't, I'm not too worried about Wikipedia censoring stuff here. This is just more of an overview. And I want to get the deets so you guys have them, and then we'll get into the theories, if you will. So If you guys remember, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was an international passenger flight operated by Malaysia Airlines that disappeared from radar on March 8th, 2014, while flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia to its planned destination, Beijing Capital International Airport in China. The reason for disappearance has not been conclusively determined. The crew on the Boeing 777-200ER, registered as the 9M-MR0, last communicated with the aircraft around 38 minutes after takeoff when the flight was over the South China Sea. The aircraft was lost from ATC's secondary surveillance radar screens minutes later, but was tracked by the Malaysian military's primary radar system for another hour, deviating westward from its planned flight path, crossing the Malay Peninsula and Andaman Sea. It left radar range 200 nautical miles northward of Penang Island in northwestern Peninsula, Malaysia. With all 227 passengers and 12 crew aboard presumed dead, the disappearance of the 370 flight was the deadliest incident involving a Boeing 777 and the deadliest in Malaysian Air's history, until it was surpassed in both regards by Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, which was shot down while flying over Ukraine 4 months later on July 17, 2014. The combined loss caused significant financial problems for Malaysia Airlines, which was re-enlisted by the Malaysian government in August 2014. All right, so what's that? Let's see. All right, quick pause. Danger, you lost me over on YouTube. Am I gone? You still there? Wally World, Danger, let me know if you guys still got me live over there on YouTube. I seem to be okay on my end, it appears. Okay, so the search for the missing airplane became the most expensive search in history of aviation. It focused initially. Sorry. All right, thank you, Casey. Still on Rumble. Sorry, it focused initially on the South China Sea and the Andaman Sea before a novel analysis of the aircraft's automated communication with an Inmar satellite indicated that the plane had traveled far southward over the southern Indian Ocean. The lack of official information in the days immediately after the disappearance prompted fierce criticism from the Chinese public, particularly from the relatives of the passengers, as most people on board Flight 370 were of Chinese origin, and we'll get into that in a minute. Several pieces of debris washed ashore in the western Indian Ocean during 2015 and 2016. Many of these were confirmed to have originated from Flight 370. After a 3-year search across 120,000 square kilometers of ocean failed to locate the aircraft, the Agency Coordination Center heading the operation suspended its activities in January of 2017. A second search launched in January of 2018 by a private contractor, Ocean Infinity, also ended without success after 6 months. Okay. So the debris, I believe there's people that are have some questions about the debris, but we'll get into that later, maybe. Relying mostly on the analysis of data from Inmarsat satellite, Inmarsat satellite, I think as soon as I hover, Wikipedia is so annoying because it has so many hyperlinks, and if you hover above something, it pops up and blocks what you're reading. Sorry, I'm back, Danger. All right, cool. That's good. Let's see. Relying mostly on the analysis of the Inmarsat, which the aircraft last communicated with, the Australian Transport Safety Bureau proposed initially that a hypoxia event was the most likely cause given the available evidence, although no consensus has been reached concerning this theory among investigators. At various stages in the investigation, possible hijacking scenarios were considered, including crew involvement and suspicion of the airplane's cargo manifest. Many disappearance theories regarding the flight have also reported in the media. Stand by, guys. Scarlett, would you go lay down right now? You're being bad tonight. Go lay down. I know it's my fault, but lay down. What? Ooh. She just coughed something up. Lay down, Scarlett, right now. Oh, Scarlett, lay down. Oh man, she's been a really bad dog, you guys. It's my fault. It's all my fault. It's because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. She's a puppy and she needs to go out and play. Well, she's not a puppy. She's 3, but she's almost 3. But I don't want to break my dog. She's got an injury and I just need her to chill. But the more I don't take my dog out, the more she gets all wound up and then starts to chew things up. Anyway, sorry. Sidebar. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so the Malaysian Ministry of Transport final report with July of 2010 was inconclusive, but highlighted Malaysian ATC's failures to attempt to communicate with the aircraft shortly after its disappearance. In the absence of a definitive cause of disappearance, air transport industry safety recommendations and regulations citing Flight 370 have been implemented to prevent the repetition of the circumstances associated with the loss. These included increased battery life on underwater locator beacons. Okay. So this gives a timeline here. I'm not even going to go into the timeline because we'll get into that a little bit more in the next thing I share with you guys. The aircraft, I already told you guys what it was. It was Boeing 777. It was only 12 years old at the time. So passengers and crew. So this is one of the interesting things about it. So of the 227 passengers, 153 were Chinese citizens, including a group of 19 artists, with 6 family members and 4 staff returning from a calligraphy exhibition of their work. Wait, what the heck? Okay. 20 passengers. I'm sorry. Okay, so there's 20 passengers, 12 of whom were from Malaysia and 8 from China, were employees of Freescale Semiconductor. So that'll be relevant when we get into this a little later. So 20 passengers were employees of Freescale Semiconductor. 12 of them were from Malaysia and 8 of them were from China. So that's pretty much the rundown of it. Rochelle, hi, nice to see you. So I have another article pulled up from The Guardian, but I don't think I have time to read it. I think I have so many clips and things I want to pull up from this one guy, and what he wrote. His letter to Congress is fairly long, and I want to read the whole thing too. So Scarlett can be very bad. She can be awful sometimes. You guys have no idea. No, you guys are right. She's really not that. My dog that recently passed away, Molly, she was a tough. Having just Scarlett now and Shiva, I realize how much of a handful Molly was. She chewed up everything. She had severe separation anxiety, and it never went away. It was for her entire life. And man, I'm talking ripping holes in walls. It was bad. I mean, giant. She was a tough dog, but I sure do miss her. Anyway. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the Wikipedia and we'll get right into this gentleman that I came across today. And again, this is just because of a rabbit hole that Clint sent me down. And I am not an expert on any of this stuff by any stretch of the imagination, but I find this stuff insanely interesting, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. At least what I've learned in the one day of learning about this stuff that I've looked into it. So just thought I'd share it with you because it's Sunday and it'd be fun. So let's go over to this. I did put a lot of time into this today, though. So, yeah, I listened to a lot of stuff today, and I read a decent amount of it. Yeah. Put it this way. I put much less time into like term papers and reports that I wrote in college and high school than I did into this today. Pretty much put my whole day into this. And for no other reason than it fascinated me. So this is this gentleman, Ashton Forbes. His name, if you guys want to follow him on the X platform, his name is at JUSTX Ashton. Just Ashton. Just X Ashton. And he is pretty much spearheading this entire thing. And there's a gentleman named Kim.com also on the X platform, and he put up $100,000 for anybody that can debunk his stuff. And there's a guy named Mick West, sorry, that tries to debunk like certain aspects of this, like a certain frame, a certain picture that we're going to look at, but he doesn't do a great job of it. And again, it's only like bits and pieces of it. Ashton has a very well formulated idea of what he thinks happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. He has, and there's video footage that came out. So notice the Wikipedia article didn't mention any of the video footage. So this is Ashton's open letter to Congress. So you guys still there? Let me check the chat really quick. All right. So again, Ashton Forbes, his open letter to Congress, and it says MH370 breaking update. My letter to Congress. Dear Congress, my name is Ashton Forbes. I am currently disclosing the most important videos in the history of the world. Okay, bold. All of this information is publicly available. I would like to state that I have top secret U.S. government clearance as part of my job as a contractor. My job has nothing to do with advanced technology. I am only stating this to establish my credibility. I am not bound by any NDA. I am not bound by a non-disclosure agreement. This is not a hoax, disinformation, or misinformation. You don't need to believe me because everything is verifiable. I am requesting a public hearing. I am willing to testify in front of Congress as to the authenticity. Sorry, guys. I am willing to request. Sorry, this gentleman is much smarter than me, and I don't want to make him sound dumb like me. So I'm going to try and read this professionally. I am requesting a public hearing. I am willing to testify in front of Congress to the authenticity of these videos and explain every aspect of them. I would also invite physics experts to validate the science on display. The videos in question are that of the true fate of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. On March 7th, 2014, at 1840 hours UTC at the Nicobar Islands, got to be careful with that word, one of those MQ-1C Gray Eagle, that's a drone, with a thermal layer added by the leaker, and the other is a 3D battle scope produced by the SBIRS, Space-Based Infrared System, a satellite. So two different videos that he's talking about, one from a drone with two different cameras mounted on it, high-tech drone, super high-tech cameras, and the other one is footage from a satellite camera looking straight down. Infrared system, and it says via SIGINT, SIGINT, signals intelligence, using data from spy satellite USA-229, which has a sister satellite next to it classified as debris. This also allows the proven 3D stereoscopic imagery we see in the satellite video. And stereoscopic, it means exactly what the word says. So stereo, if you guys know what stereo says, it's applying stereo to video. So stereo sound is I used to have to explain what stereo sound is all the time for my job. Stereo sound is like back the Beatles album was the first album to use it back in the USSR when you heard the plane flying overhead from left to right. That's stereo. It's not mono. It's different things coming out of the speaker. It creates what's called a sound stage in front of you. So stereoscopic would mean that you have two different images of the same thing, right? So it's two different camera angles of the same footage, like you're watching a baseball game. You got two different cameras, one of the pitcher, one of the hitter, right? Okay. So, sorry, where was I? Let's see. Okay. The oldest archive versions of the video we could find come from Regicon Anon, a UFO video uploader who uploaded unrelated videos previously, indicating they are not the source. Higher quality versions were released by the UFO uploaders on YouTube later on, indicating neither is the original source. The dates are damning. Satellite video received March 12th, 2014, updated May 19th, 2014. And he has a link here. And then, okay, but he has these videos attached. But maybe I'll come and open the link just to verify it for you guys after I'm reading this. MQ1C Gray Eagle. Let's see, sorry. MQ1C Gray Eagle received June 5th, 2014, uploaded June 13th. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That's the other video. So why now, many ask? Because only in 2023 do we have the basis to understand these videos to be real. We needed the 2017 DoD Navy UAP videos to understand what FLIR footage looks like. The 2019 Trump satellite leak to understand those capabilities in 2020 scientific papers that show wormholes are humanely traversable. LK99, what shows the emergence of superconductivity, and finally AI in daily use as ChatGPT. Without all of these things, the MH370 videos seem like magic. And if you guys go down the LK99 rabbit hole, that's another thing. Like go down the superconductor rabbit hole. That's a whole other one. So yeah, there's so much with this crap. This goes into the whole like space-time, wormholes, bending space-time, all that stuff. Quantum mechanics, stuff that I cannot understand, but I love to try and listen to people talk about quantum mechanics because it makes me feel so stupid. Like Eric Weinstein. It's just so fun to listen to Eric Weinstein talk about I can't even remember the theory, but I think I've listened to him talk about string theory before. That's just fun. But this is what all this gets into, that realm, and that's not my realm at all. I'm a politics guy, but this stuff fascinates me. I love the movie Interstellar. All right, let's continue. We know the location of the videos. Wait, hold on. Did I skip anything? Okay, no, I didn't. We know the location of the videos because the investigative group I started, MH370X, satellite exports, used amateur historical trajectories to identify the correct satellites in the correct position to take the 3D stereoscopic videos with. So he's saying that he verified that the satellites, because satellites are in orbit. So if a satellite's on one side of the Earth and you're talking about an image on the other side of the Earth, it doesn't have line of sight. It's not physically possible for the satellite to see that thing. So he verified that the satellites were indeed in the correct position to see the image, the plane in this case. And he also verified that they were, so not only do the satellites have to be in the correct position, they have to be pointed in the correct position. Satellites aren't just looking everywhere all the time. They have to be looking at a certain spot, and somebody has to aim them there. So he verified that not only that they were both in the correct position and they were looking in the right spot. So we can see 6 sets of coordinates in the satellite video, which we had incorrectly thought were in the southern Indian Ocean, until we were able to realize the only possible location was the Nicobar Islands, because the plane is turning left in both videos and due to the coordinate shifts. This means the plane is turning south and to the east. The satellite and witness, Kathleen T., indicate the time is 1800 hours, 40 minutes UTC, March 7, 2014. Okay, and he has more links here, more videos. Who's got links here for proof of where the satellite was, and then he's got there's a witness here. So a witness saw there's the witness on the oil derrick. There's a guy that was like out on some oil derrick out in the middle of the ocean. He witnessed the plane apparently, and somebody else I believe, and there were some people like on the coast of the island. Okay, let's continue. I have been investigating. Sorry, I got to try and be as fast as possible. I've been investigating and writing about these videos as a citizen journalist for the past 10 weeks. My X Corp Twitter following has gone from 30 followers to 8,500 plus. I think he's at a lot now. Of multidisciplinary backgrounds from strength of the evidence alone. My handle is just X Ashton. We have definitively proved every aspect of our videos to be authentic. We know the assets, the time, the location. We have a witness. We know that there was a fire on the plane, likely from the lithium-ion batteries, which broke containment, causing the halon gas to permeate throughout the plane. Then he's got a link to lithium-ion batteries. So there's no debris field, which is impossible for a 777 crashing into the ocean. The small amounts of debris found are consistent with the fire scenario, and some debris had burn marks. A fire suppression device from a B777 washed up in the Maldives and was not investigated despite having visible serial numbers. The Maldives were intentionally excluded from the search, despite witnesses on the small island seeing the plane fly low and identifying the red and blue stripe of the Malaysian Airlines earlier in the morning of March 8th, 2014. And then he has a link for all the witnesses. So there's a ton that we can get into that I just don't have time to do in an hour, but I'm trying to give you guys the overview here. We know that the official narratives are a lie. To cover up that this technology was developed to either save the plane or as espionage to prevent the 20 free-scale semiconductor scientists on board from going to China, I suspect they are integral in the technology we see. So we haven't even gotten into the videos yet, or the technology that he's referencing here. So remember the semiconductor employees, the 20 semiconductor employees. We know the plane didn't crash into the ocean because the SOSUS system didn't hear the acoustic sound. So remember the submarine that went pop a few months ago that was visiting the Titanic, and they were talking about how they only got so much air left and this and that, and then like a few days later we find out like, no, we heard that thing go pop like super early on. Remember that? That's what he's talking about here. He's talking about that device. However, they detect like underwater events like that. Well, they would have heard the plane crashing into the ocean is what he's saying there. So the same system that heard, the same system that heard the Titan sub pop, and the Navy lied about it for 5 days while oxygen counters were on every major news channel. The Diego Garcia hydrophones and Western Australia hydrophones also didn't hear it. So missing hydrophones data. Okay. When he says didn't hear it, he's not referring to the Titan, he's referring to the airplane crash. I wish that this being MH370 was the most important part of these videos, because ultimately I'm doing this for the families of the victims, the witnesses, the leaker of these videos, and the world that has been lied to. However, the most important part of this video is that they prove conclusively that the U.S. government is hiding superconductivity, teleportation, and free energy from the world. So there it is, folks. Everything we see in these videos can be explained by science. So he went balls deep there, didn't he? All right. So this is not aliens in the videos, these are technology. The assets are filming the plane before the orbs even show up. The drone cannot catch a 777 at 200-200. It must have intercepted it. This is a U.S. government operation. I do not believe that we. So he's saying the drone that videotaped it, that recorded it, was it didn't like catch up to it and randomly see it by chance. It was already honed on to it. Like this is they were tracking this plane on purpose. Is what he's saying there. Sorry, this is a U.S. government operation. I do not believe that we could be this secretly advanced without a reverse engineering program. The orbs in this video are ignoring gravity, being pulled forward from some gravity engine, indicated by the dark lines in front of them, and upon intercept are traveling at the estimated Mach 3 speeds. The explanation for their patterns is artificial intelligence, a computer program. Then he's got some more links here for superconductive harmonic orbs and traversable wormholes. He's got some more links there. You guys check this stuff out. The video, I just don't have time right now. The videos do not show annihilation because E equals MC squared, and the zap would be much larger. I'm stupid. I'm just reading, guys. It's not an explosion because it's cold in the thermal, not hot. It's a black hole. It's a black hole. It's also not cloaking because the smoke stops when the plane disappears. It has to be teleportation because it has to be teleportation based on science. A wormhole. I found out to my own surprise that humanely traversable wormholes are theoretically possible. This singularity is causing a transitional phase state change in the plane where it reverts to a wave function and obtains a probabilistic nature. I don't know what it just said, you guys. I just read it. This is the only possible with superconductivity and free energy technology. Okay. This is a long one, isn't it? Jesus, really long. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to try and get through this quickly. I was also able to identify the leaker of the videos as being Lieutenant Commander Edward C. Lynn. He checks every box to be the leaker. Our government attempts to put him in prison for life as a traitor, but he is no spy. Edward C. Lynn is a hero. He took a plea deal after he was convicted. He damaged national security. After he was convinced he damaged national security, but he never revealed this information to our enemies. He simply wanted to do the right thing and tell the world the truth of this technology and what happened to the MH370. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison and likely is bound to his plea deal to never speak about the videos again. We can vindicate this man as well as everyone else who was lied to or discredited. And then he's got a link about how he was discredited. I also get a tip from the source that told me that the nephew of a retired General Joseph F. Dunford has seen the videos and indirectly confirmed their authenticity. Okay, it's just hearsay. He was likely in charge of the operation as the commander of the International Security Assistance Force in 2014. He then served as the 19th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the non-nation's highly ranking military officer. Okay, I don't care about this. I'm sorry. I don't care. This is all hearsay. While the destruction of the plane is speculative, the most likely place is Diego Garcia. The witness in the Maldives indicate that, as well as the American passenger Philip Wood EXIF data photo that points to Diego Garcia, where he claimed to be held prisoner. Okay, I don't even know what that means. Okay. I'm not sure what happened to the passengers. It is scientifically possible that some survived. None of the families of the victims have reached out to me. I am operating under the assumption that they were returned to their various countries in exchange for their silence, and Philip Wood may be witness protection. Okay, now we're getting freaking out there. So now you're saying they went through a wormhole and they might be safe. Okay, we're getting out there, guys. I know the videos seem impossible, but they are authentic. They are not CGI. We are able to show that the satellite videos we're going to watch the videos, you guys. I'm sorry. I just want to read this whole thing. in a Citrix session logged into the actual spy satellites database due to the frame rate discrepancy between the mouse we see and the background, 24 frames per second versus 6 frames per second. Also, hundreds of community VFX experts have analyzed the footage frame by frame, and not a single discrepancy can be found. The list of requirements to hook the videos is practically impossible. Okay, he's got more links. More links. These videos implicate the U.S. government in a black budget reverse engineering program, a law whistleblower David Grush's sworn testimony to Congress. Okay, I read that recently. Interesting. The information will shock you, and I hope you will seek to expose the truth. This surpasses petty politics. Please help the good of the country. This is a verifiable conspiracy, and while I believe that is being done because the forces that be think that society will collapse if this technology is made publicly available, I disagree. We can handle this information, and the technology has the capability to change the circumstances of millions, if not billions of people. What matters in this world is the time we spend in it and that people care about it. That will not change. The reason I am requesting a public congressional hearing is because I believe the weight of this evidence can convince enough people in Congress that the true events of MH370 were covered up by our own government, and that there is a black budget advanced technology program most likely based on reverse engineered unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. Sincerely, Ashton Forbes. Okay, so that's a long one. So A-Corbs, nice to see you. Casey Morton. We're to believe we can catch MH370, but not Epstein killing himself. Okay. Well, this is supposedly a leak. This isn't. This would be something else that the government's hiding, covering up, much like the Epstein stuff. A-Corbs. Tommy Robinson was arrested in London today for being a journalist. It is apparently illegal to yell jihad and kill the blank. If you are a reporter, you are arrested. I see what you're saying. It is legal to yell jihad and okay. Geez, be careful with the stuff. Were you trying to get me suspended? Well, that's, at least you said it on Rumble. I could probably say that on Rumble. Okay. So, all right. So all the stuff that he says right here, it really makes me, a lot of stuff makes me go back to this Tom DeLonge podcast that he did with Joe Rogan a long time ago. Do you guys remember that one? Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, the lead singer. He's like a UFO fanatic. And he was on Joe Rogan. And I need to go back and listen to the whole episode. But from my recollection, he was essentially saying that there is like this giant UAP black budget thing going on with the government, and they want to release this stuff to the American people, and they're going to do it as like a slow trickle over time through pop culture and movies and stuff like that. And look at all the stuff that's like coming out in movies through like Marvel, you know, Doctor Strange and like wormholes, and you know, I don't that's what Tom DeLonge was alluding to, that they're going to try to like prime the population for the release of this type of information that we have, like this type of technology and stuff like that. So with that being said, let's watch the freaking videos. Geez, enough a delay, huh? So have you guys seen these yet? I'll shut up. I'll expand them. So let's go to the first one. All right. So these are two different things that we're looking at here. One of them, the one on the left that we're seeing here, is the footage from the drone that has the multiple cameras on it. And you can see how the drone camera is actually zoomed in on it right now. The footage doesn't show it long enough, but you can see the camera zooming in and out. Like it's clearly tracking this plane. The drone is. And see how it loses it for a second because it zoomed in too fast. It zoomed in too much and it lost it. But you see the orbs traveling around the plane, right? And then poof, it's gone. So the plane disappears and there's these three orbs. And this footage came out a long time ago, but everybody just sort of ignored it because it was like, okay, whatever. But now, because of what we know, this footage is sort of like being revisited and like verified. And this is the other camera angle here. So this is the satellite footage. So here comes in the first orb. And notice how it goes past it, like almost like it doesn't see it. And then it kind of like locks back onto it and it starts bouncing around it. And then here comes the other two orbs, right? And then they start circling around it like this. And they're doing this sort of pattern. And then all of a sudden they start, they break off from circling around it. And then they start doing this weird zigzagging thing back and forth right here. So now they're like going back and forth. You see this? They're not circling anymore. They're doing this weird back and forth. And then poof, it's gone. So like, and it's so again, this is two different sources. This is drone footage from an actual drone that's tracking it, a government drone that's tracking this flight for whatever reason. And then you've got these satellites in space that are also tracking it for whatever reason. And Ashton over here has apparently verified that these things, these videos are legit, according to him. So his theory is that Malaysia Airlines was, well, let's get into some other stuff. Let's talk about the fire. So he actually thinks that they were trying to save this plane. He doesn't think that this was like some accident or some weird aliens things. He thinks this was government technology and they were actually trying to save this plane because of those passengers that were on the plane, because at that semiconductor company, apparently they are working on superconductivity and technology that would make this type of thing possible. So that's the whole thing with this. It's kind of bananas. So I got a whole bunch of stuff on this and I don't have enough time to get into all of it, but let's check it out. So Acorb is like the Mandela effect. What's like the Mandela effect? I love the Mandela effect stuff, like the monocle on the Monopoly guy, or what's the one with there's something about It's a Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood. There's something about there with the Mandela effect, something about Mr. Rogers. It's a Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood. Yeah, something about that. Anyway, Casey Martin, predictive programming. It has to be on The Simpsons before I believe it. Well, it probably was. It probably was, dude. So, so here's Ashton Forbes talking about it. Let's listen to this one.
Didn't just probably only wanted to leak this video. Weeks later, they end up leaking the second video. So we can see this smoke trail coming clearly from the back of the plane. These are cumulus clouds that we're seeing here. These cumulus clouds only form at low altitudes. These are not contrails conclusively. So we have three sources of corroboration for these videos. I would argue that we have more evidence these videos are real than any court case in human history. Now, you can see this first orb is coming in at around Mach 3. It's moving 10 times faster than the plane. It's ignoring gravity. It appears to be showing superconductive properties. It starts to rotate around the plane, but not right away. And then it gets around the plane. The second orb, as you just maybe missed out, I'll go show it again. This second orb is going to shoot up through the water here, across the water, and then come up through this cloud that we see down here. So you watch very closely, you can see it right there, and it shoots up through the cloud, and then it's now going around it. Now the third orb gets into place, and then they get into a locked formation, and then they switch orientations, and they start rotating around a different way. Now they're encircling the entire plane here at this point, and they're encircling in a sphere, like they're tracking it, they're measuring it, or something like that, and then they change orientations to be vertically aligned. And you'll see that happen once it gets to this cloud right here. So they encircle it, they're following the center of mass, and now they're going around it from a vertical perspective. You see that? It's like they're preparing it for what's about to happen right here, and then zap. And so what we think is happening here, yeah, we think that they're somehow able to induce some type of very energetic event, potentially through the use of superconductivity. The leaker moves the video over to the right. You can see that the smoke stops dead in its tracks right here. It doesn't continue forward, indicating this is not cloaking of any sort. It's not annihilation, because this zap that we see, due to the amount of mass in this plane, the mass has to go somewhere. The mass and energy does. So if this plane was being annihilated, like a nuclear bomb going off, this would be a much, much bigger energetic event than this event we see here. You can see the lines in front of them right here on where they're tracking as well on this. And I have another version that makes it even more apparent with that. And here's the super slow-mo where you can see actually looks like gravitational lensing, where these orbs are being bent. The light from them is being bent as they approach in on the plane at the last second right here where you can see. And even at the last second, we have a version of this that we created that is decolorized. You can see these trails are coming from the front of the orbs here, and they're following the path of these trails. This is probably my favorite version of the footage that's out there. That, again, we've created this version of it to better see this information on there.
So one of the things that he talks about that's sort of pretty important is the fire in the cargo hold. So I want to see if I can find footage of that one. Let's see. Okay, so this was an interesting little tidbit. This is from the Julian Dory podcast. So this Ashton fellow went on the Julian Dory podcast.
The MH370 case is so mysterious. What would explain the fact that there were family members of passengers calling passengers and getting a dial
Casey Martin.
tone for 8 or 9 days
Terry Wallace, nice to see you.
out or something
It was
like
about
that?
4 days, but still, that's a long time to be calling people.
Because it only had 6 hours of fuel. We know that.
If you believe the people on CNN, they just say, well, this can happen because like maybe it's still connecting to the last time it touched cell phone tower. But that maybe explains it for the first day or so. But 4 days later, how are they still calling? This is a video proving that they were able to do it on live television.
There was also a call that came in when all the family members were in the crisis room together. One of the passengers was like, oh my God, my dad's calling. He was on the flight. All the other people were there looking at him. He was really calling. And then they answered and no one was there.
And interestingly enough, 19 families of the victims signed a statement saying they could actually call the victims' phones for up to 4 days, and they wanted the government to investigate it. As far as I know, that just never happened. It kind of defies common reasoning and common logic.
The MH370 case is so mysterious.
All right. So people could call their loved ones' cell phones up to like 4 days after. And then somebody actually got a call. Nobody was on the line, but got a call from their dad that was on the plane after it disappeared. Nick Corbs reminds you of the show Manifest. Reminds me of Lost. It's like, are they all on some island right now? Are they in purgatory? Spoiler alert. If you guys haven't seen Lost, you guys probably have. There's a bunch of people trying to debunk this stuff, but I want to get into I want to make sure the fire. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Well, so all right, I don't know if I have any footage on it, but basically he was saying that in the thermal imaging camera that they're showing, you can see a third heat signature. So you see the two separate exhaust vents from the engines for heat signatures, and then you can see one that's near the landing gear that appears to be a fire in the cargo bay, and you can see smoke coming off the plane. And this whole theory of what happened to this plane is that a fire broke out in the cargo bay. They got out over the South China Sea, circled around over those islands back towards the Indian Ocean, and got really low because they wanted to make sure that the passengers could still breathe, because they probably lost cabin pressure, so they need to stay below a certain altitude. So they had oxygen, and they were trying to go back to the nearest airport. That's his theory. And then his theory about getting zapped out of midair with those orbs is that they were actually trying to save those passengers, those 20 passengers that worked for that semiconductor company. That's his whole theory on this stuff. So there's people saying that, all right, so there's a lot of people like trying to debunk the flash. They reduced that flash where the plane disappears down to like a single frame. Here's this Mick West guy trying to debunk all that stuff. So they're saying it's like stock footage from a video game. So they're saying that there's people trying to say that the video is fake, that the video is not real. And well, I'll just say this Ashton fellow does not think too highly of Mick West. He's calling him a hack and a fraud and all sorts of stuff. So I will say there are people refuting his story. They're trying to push back on him, but I want to make sure that I get his whole story out there before I start talking about the debunkers. There's so much to listen to regarding this stuff. And I don't have time. I didn't even have time to put it all in the proper order that I wanted to. All right, let's watch this one really quick. This is about the Flash and saying that it was like, taken from a video game and superimposed onto those videos. This is, I believe, what that's about. So let's watch this really quick.
Taylor set-off blast waves are commonly found in strong explosions, often found in supernovae, shock waves, or explosions in various environments such as land, water, space, and air. Small fluctuations in the density or pressure of the surrounding medium can lead to the perturbations, or a bumpy pattern, in the blast waves. For example, in 2021, researchers from the Royal Astronomical Society ran hydrodynamic simulations of supernova blast waves propagating through the interstellar medium. One of the frames is nearly a perfect match to the VFX effect from the 1990s that is being used to supposedly debunk MH370 videos. Unless you believe the Royal Astronomical Society is faking its results, these are clearly not the same asset. In 2011, researchers from McGill University exploded glass particles with C4. Again, we can clearly see the Taylor-Sadov blast pattern emerge from the explosion. And once again, we can overlay one single frame from the same blast wave from the C4 explosion on top of the 90s stock VFX footage and find a nearly identical match. Does this mean the McGill researchers faked their blast wave? Of course not. In 2018, researchers from the Royal Society of Chemistry ran experiments on the jetting patterns of flower explosions in order to mimic the patterns found in volcanic eruptions, meteorite impacts, explosions of landmines, and other explosions. Once again, we can take a single frame from one of their experiments and find a match to the VFX stock effect from the 1990s. By now, it should be obvious that patterns from Taylor-Sadov blast waves can be found in a wide variety of different environments, proving that the MH370 videos are not debunked by stock VFX footage from the 1990s. Taylor-Sadov blast waves are commonly found in...
You guys, my dog is dreaming. And she's dreaming really loudly. Hey, Corbs, the show is about a plane that ends up traveling into the future, but everyone on the plane stays the same age. That kind of sounds like the Stephen King movie, or Stephen King book. I never read his books because I'm dumb, so I just watched the movies. The Langoliers. I bet Dandre, you remember that one, The Langoliers? It's like they got, it was like a plane somehow went into a wormhole and they ended up in the past, and the Langoliers were these things that ate the past. And yeah, anyway, that was a stupid movie. Stephen King movies are always stupid. They always start off great. I don't know how his books are, but like The Stand, it was like the first one was amazing, and then it just got worse as it went along. I feel like all his stuff is like that. Maximum Overdrive terrified me when I was a kid, though. That movie scared the crap out of me. I was scared of semi-trucks until I was like 10 years old. The movie freaking traumatized me. He scared me, guys. It's because he's liberal. Yeah, I know. All right, so Mick West is still challenging all this stuff, and Kim.com, again, somebody very big on the X platform. And he's got a very interesting backstory. You should look into him. I think it's up to like 120 grand for anybody that can prove these videos are fake. And yeah, so what the heck? So readers added context. This is the community note on it. This video is not okay. So World of Engineering. Please tell me this video is not real. And then, so there is a community note on this. This is not real. This video has long been debunked. Okay, so let's watch their debunking really quick. This will take us to YouTube. Let's watch their debunking, guys. Hopefully it's less than 4 minutes. Good. It's only 2 minutes. Sorry, guys. Slow interwebs.
These two videos, supposedly showing 3 UFOs abducting Malaysian flight MH370, were released in 2014, but recently got popular again on Reddit. I was unable to debunk them because I didn't try. They were old, low-resolution, anonymous videos released on anonymous clickbait sites. They also looked ridiculous. I thought analyzing them would be a waste of time, just a distraction, flooding the zone, much like the Las Vegas alien nonsense. But the videos were still eventually debunked in multiple ways, mostly on Reddit. There was also an extensive discussion thread on Metabunk, but not everyone reads Reddit or Metabunk. People are still asking me to look into them, so this video is just a quick summary of the ways in which we know the videos are fake. First, this portal effect was found by Redditor IcySlide7698 to be made using modified stock footage from the 1990s. It's impossible for all these curves along the edges to match.
So I believe this is a video from that guy, Mick West, and it's not the same image. It's similar, but it's not the same image. So the guy Ashton, he goes into he talks about this in depth. I think this community note is wrong, guys. Like, this Ashton dude and Kim.com and a lot of people are really holding this out like, nah, this does appear to be legit. A lot of really reputable people and people with military backgrounds, high level security clearances are saying that, no, this appears to be leaked footage of Malaysia Airlines being surrounded by those orbs things and disappearing into a flash. That does appear to be legit. And remember, it's from the drone footage and the satellite footage. He verified that the satellite footage was in the correct position, was looking at the right thing, two different things. And the US drone wasn't fast enough to keep up with wasn't fast enough to catch up with the plane, first of all. So it already had to have been watching the plane. So so I don't feel like they debunked anything with that video there. So I don't know, but it's up to you guys. I just wanted to present as much as I could in an hour to you guys, and that's about all I got. Terry Wallace, who is this guy? The guy talking, I think that was the Mick West guy. The guy with the accent there. Yeah, I think that was Mick West. But I'm not sure. So that's it, you guys. That's what I got for tonight. I could do a super deep dive into this, but there's people already doing that, and I recommend you go down this rabbit hole because it's a deep one. So, with all the other stuff that's going on right now, you guys, inflation, potential war popping off everywhere, the whole AI stuff, but also really exciting stuff. Like, we have a place we can talk again on the X platform. Rumble is a great place to speak. Yeah, Rochelle, it's a local show going to be about nothing planned. We're gonna shoot from the hip here. I have tons of news stuff to talk about, but I don't know how to share stuff on local. So I just might have to. We'll just be chatting over there. But yeah, we're gonna go over there to chat. So you guys, thanks for watching the show. If you give a like, thumbs up, all that good stuff. If you want to support the show, and it would be greatly helpful because it is how I keep the lights on the X platform. All the links on how to support are right there in my bio. If you guys want to contribute and help me feed the dogs, keep the lights on, keep the show going, not go homeless, all that kind of stuff, links are in my bio on the X platform, and it is always greatly appreciated. So, Okay, it was Mick West, Terry. All right, cool. All right, guys. So if you want to, please go over and check out my locals. We're going to go over and continue this over there. I'm going to go for a half hour. I think that's all it lets me do. But I'm going to jump right over there right now, and we will do the first episode of CaliBased After Hours. That's what it's going to be called, I guess. That's what we're going to do. So Rochelle, Casey Martin, Terry Wallace, Acorbs, everybody over there on Rumble, Wally World, Danger. Nice to see you over there on YouTube. Yeah, if you guys want to go over and check out the Rumble's platform, it's not like private. It's not subscriber only. It's it's just another platform. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how it works. So we're just gonna do a little hangout over there. All right, if you guys want to go check it out, I will see you over there shortly in probably just like 1 minute. But before we go, you know how we do it. Got to read a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. What do we have tonight, folks? What do we have tonight? I'm not even going to pre-screen it. Here we go. All right. You guys ready? You guys ready for the Chuck Norris joke? All right, here we go. Chuck Norris waited patiently at Al Capone's vault for 33 years just so he could give Geraldo Rivera the surprising beating of his lifetime. And on that note, stay Cali-based.